Welcome to JFK. And yes, I got kind of sidetracked there. I saw a plane. This is Traffic Global, by the way, and I enjoy immersing myself, giving it more of an immersive feeling. So that plane right there, that was a Delta flight that just was coming into JFK, and that is an AI plane. That's one of in some cases hundreds of AI planes that I have on my flights. In fact, you'll see him. He knows exactly where he's going. You'll see him slowing down up here, and he has his gate that he's going to be coming over here to. Is he making a turn there? So that's the fast one. That's some of the gates. So some things I use. I really enjoy having Traffic Global. There's some things that you need to know about it along the way. So anyway, I thought I would take you though to the Zibo 737. There may be some of you out there who have just gotten started, and this is really a beginner's approach to how to start. I'm told cold and dark start. I can't get you through how to fly this plane. You're just gonna have to take the hundreds, I won't say hundreds, but tens of hours that's going to get you proficient. Okay, so we're gonna get there. Let me go ahead and cut that timer off. I think we'll go ahead and start a little bit early. And this is for some may watch it now, some may watch it later. So Zibo 737, the best free plane that you can probably get your hands on at the forum, and it's been an excellent plane to fly. And in fact, the livery that I had made for it, a custom livery Bravo 737. Let's get in the cockpit, and I'll show you a couple of things about it. I think we'll get in the cockpit. There we go. Okay, so here we are in cockpit. If you notice, we are the epitome of cold and dark. Nothing is on in here. You're completely immersed in a cockpit that's got no power whatsoever. And this definitely, I tell you what, they age this such, it really does look like a the typical 737. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to go, first of all, we need to learn a little bit about what is on the upper panel to get it started. So let's go to the upper panel. And don't be overwhelmed. Section this off in your head by what you're looking at here. It's a lot of buttons, but it starts out this way. The first thing you have to do before you go anywhere or do anything on the 737 is you need power. Okay, you need power. Without it, you've got nothing. You can't change anything. So the first thing we're going to do is over here. This is the DC. This is the battery guard for the DC power. And in order to get anything, I have to take it and I'm going to knock it down. And as you see, I actually got some lights, some things going on here, so that's good. Okay. The next thing you do once you've dropped the DC power, so you've dropped the power or you've dropped the battery guard, is usually I go ahead and drop all the battery guards. If there's any that are just out there, just drop them. Okay. Step 2. Go up here and hit nav on your IRS. Nav on your IRS. So the reason you're doing that is they're going to start doing their aligning process to get them aligned. Okay, but that's the next step that you take. Okay, all right. Next thing, we're going to go row by row here, and I'll show you what we have to do initially. But on this row here, we're and by the way, if you are in any sort of commercial airline role, and you probably not if you're watching this necessarily, what I'm doing would not necessarily be what you would do as what an airline pilot would do. There may be certain policies you have to follow, but you want to do this. You see here we have the fuel. I'm going to cut on the left and right pumps. I'm just going to cut those on right there. And then I'm going to move over one row here, and I'm going to start the APU. So I need to get the APU started. To do that, this is the APU switch, You know it's the APU switch because it says APU. It's good, isn't it? Okay. We're going to knock that down. You're going to hold it down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Watch here. Keep watching. Low oil pressure. You're going to get that message. Okay, the minute you do that, go back over here, hold it down again. 1, 2, 3. Let go. You see the pressure there starting to go up? The pressure's going to rise. While that pressure's rising, you're going to go over here to the APU bleed, and you're going to cut on the APU bleed. Okay, APU bleed's going. And since I'm just trying to show y'all how to start the engine, that's the primary goal for this. I'm going to sit here and wait for that pressure to equalize, and what's going to happen eventually is you're going to see this light come on that it's available for us to use. So we're going to wait for it. Okay, see what just happened? APU generator bus is available. And here's what happens. I'm going to go ahead and to turn on the APU now, you're going to do this. Watch. And now we're running on APU power. When you're running on APU power, that means that you're running on, it's burning fuel to do that. But we also go to the back of the plane here. And if you see here, that's the exhaust for the APU right there. See that? You can easily tell that's the exhaust blowing out that stuff. Beautiful sight. And that very easily or nicely recreated there. But that's the APU exhaust. Right, back to the front. Back up here. Let's go back to here. All right. With the APU on, there are certain things that you can do now, if you want to go ahead and do them, that you can't do unless the APU is running. You can hit the yaw damper. Okay, that light goes off, the yaw damper is on. So now we have on the row 1 here, though, if you see, we have yaw damper active, we have fuel. Anything we need on this row is done for now. On this row, there is nothing more that we need to do on this row right here. Everything is cut over that needs to be. If you want to get some more lighting on your panels, you can turn it up right there. But even this middle section, just for what we're doing right now, there's nothing you have to do or worry with at the moment. Okay, we'll get to more later as you get ready for your flight. Row number 4. If this were a real flight, I would have the window heat cut on, but I would not have the probes cut on until the engine is started. Okay. Hydraulic pumps, we're going to go ahead and cut on the hydraulic pumps there. Okay, and now and everything is set right now at this point in a position to where we can start the engines. And if you see here, you have just enough pressure right now. The APU bleed's running, but I'll show you how our next step is. It's going to be to fire up the engine. So we need at least that much pressure to have the isolation valve where it needs to be, but we have that much pressure, and we can go for start. Okay, so now everything's set up the way we need to actually start the engine. Okay, so I'm going to take you to 2 places now. I'm going to take you here. I'm going to show you, this is the engine start section. So some people are just like, well, I don't understand what to do with that. How do I use that? You know, because it just says GRD or continuous or flight. What does that mean? GRD is what we're going to use to start, and we're going to start engine 2 now. But to do that, here's what we do. Ready? You're going to cut this over to GRD, and then you're going to go down here. And if you notice, this number is starting to go up right here. So we've hit GRD, and you notice the numbers continuing to rise, And we're waiting for that number to rise to get to about 25-ish. You hear it outside? So 24, 24, and now we're going to bring up 2 here. This is the fuel. So we've just inserted fuel. That is fuel insertion. If we go outside now, you see how the engine is firing up there? Oh, by the way, that is a cool shot, I must say. Okay, let's go back inside the cockpit. Alright, so now we see engine 2 is stabilized. And we noticed too, you remember we put it over to GRD. The minute that the engine comes up stabilized, it kicks back over to the off right here, and we're done with that for now. We're done with that, okay? Now we can do the same thing for engine 1. So engine 1, here's engine 1 right here. I hope that gives you a good perspective of it. So engine 1. Switch in the middle, just in case there's any confusion about this switch in the middle that says left and right, both engine start, it doesn't matter where it is, okay? Don't even pay any attention to this. Real airline pilots don't pay any attention to it, so we're not. So just leave that be. You don't have to worry with it, okay? So we're gonna hit bring the switch for engine number 1 over to GRD. Here we go. Bam. And now we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're watching the number rise right here, and we're looking for it to get around 25-ish, 24-ish, 25-ish. And the minute that it does, we're going to pull up the fuel. We're going to insert fuel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Insert fuel. And then we're going to go outside. Watch that engine fire up. You see it spinning faster and faster. Alright, and now if we go back into the cockpit, we should have a stabilized engine 1. We should have a good start. Let's go check. And do we? And do we? Yeah, we do. So if we look here now, both engines are stabilized, and both engines are on. We're at about 59.5 here, and fuel is inserted. And so we're good to go. At this point, if you were in the course of a flight, you're ready to start all the other processes. Last step that I'll give you here, and we'll pick back up on this in a future video, is once the engines are active. We're on APU. Remember I said earlier we've been running on the APU. We no longer need the APU once the engines are running. As soon as we cut them over to the engine buses. So here's what you do. Generator, we're going to cut it over here. Watch what happens. You heard the little noise. Then we're going to cut this one over. And as it stands now, do you notice all of a sudden now the APU generator is available because it's no longer active, but because we're running off the engine buses. And then we're going to take the APU switch. We're going to turn it off. And we're going to turn the bleed off. Since the engines are active now, we can now cut the packs on. If these packs are on, if you try to start the engines, it will not start. But now that the engine's running, we're going to cut the packs to auto, and we're going to cut the isolation valve to auto. And that's it. That's right there. You have just, if you followed this, you have just started the engines on your 737-800 Zibo model. And by the way, when I say the Zibo model, it works the same for any of them. The only last thing I'll tell you, look, in this lesson or in this tutorial is this. If the packs are on, at the time you're trying to start, it will not start. And the reason is that it's gonna mess with your pressure. So in order to start the 737-800 model, the packs here always have to be off. I'm going to go ahead and set up what it looks like when you start it. If you had the engine off, packs are going to look like that. This can be this can be right there, and that's fine. And the bleed would be like that. That's what it would look like at the time that you start it. Make a note of that, because you're gonna at some point get frustrated because you can't start the engines, and this is going to be why. Okay, so look at that. Packs are off. Isolation valve. It can either be, I think isolation can be on, or if it's in the auto mode, it probably will not impact this. And then the bleed is on, and that's giving you this pressure right here. Okay, right. But since we are started, we're going to put the engines to the packs to auto, isolation valve to auto, and that's how we might feel nice and cool in the cockpit and the cabin. All right. I hope that helps. That'll be a little something to learn from, and I will see y'all on a subsequent